Hello there, Capricorns. Welcome to your weekly reading. So this reading is going to run from December 10th until the 16th. When I was shuffling the cards for you, what I saw was I saw two people sculpting a figure. It's a really large stone figure. So I see you kind of like on a stepladder. You're chiseling away, creating the face of the person. And the sculptor seems like it's a medieval warrior or somebody who's wearing armor, okay, with like a shield and a sword. And then there's another person underneath you, sculpting away or chiseling away at the foot, the left foot of the sculptor, I guess. The sculpture, yeah. So at the foot of the sculpture. And you both are just chiseling away. You're not talking very much, but I feel like there's like, that sense of purpose, that sense of the both of us are working on this masterpiece together. And then somebody barges through the door and they're like, hey, Capricorn, there's like an explosion down the road. Come check it out. And you're like, okay, no, I'd rather work on this with this other person. And so they close the door, and then later on, like, through the evening, because I do see, the sun setting in the window and then the moon coming out. Somebody was like, hey, there's a parade going in town, or like there's like some festivities down the road. Come check it out. And you're like, no, it's okay. I'd rather just stay here and work on this sculpture. So that's the image that I'm getting. So I feel like there is somebody that you have been... I feel like that you're really, really enjoying their company, okay? It's almost like this really strong soulmate, soulful connection that you have with another person. And the two of you have a lot of commonalities. You have the same hobbies. You have the same interests. And there's almost this sense of like somebody who works just as hard as you do, somebody that is also a workaholic, somebody that has really work ethics, somebody that you can really depend on. And, you're like working on one portion of the statue. I was looking for that word. So it could be a sculpture or a statue. And then the other person's working at the foot of the statue. And you trust them that they know what they're doing. And so you don't have to, look over their shoulders to make sure if they're getting it just right. So I feel like you have somebody like that in your life, that you really, really, really enjoy their company. You really enjoy talking to them. You really enjoy working with them. So I feel like this might even be like a love connection in the workplace. And I feel almost like there are feelings that you have towards this person that you might not verbalize. So I feel like some of you have feelings for this person that you're not verbalizing. But either way, I feel like the energy of this week is there's a big project that you're trying to finish up. You're spending a lot of your time, a lot of your energy, making sure that this big project gets off the ground. Okay, it's a statue, so it's made from stone, from alabaster, and you're chiseling away at it. So it requires delicacy, it requires precision, and it requires like getting all the pieces just right. So it's not something that you can half-ass. It's not something that you can, just whip up at the last minute. It's a long-standing work in progress, and you're very, very proud of it. It's a representation of all of your skills, everything that you have learned over time. So you're taking meticulous care to get this project to be, precisely the way that you want. So every single detail matters. And the fact that you're allowing another person to help you indicates that there is a great degree of trust that you place in the other person to do things just right, because this project has your name imprinted on it. So it's a representation of you. And if there are little cracks, if there are little mistakes, if there are little imperfections, it's a reflection of you. So you trust somebody a great deal And I'm hearing as well, I trust you with my life. I know that no matter what happened, no matter what people say about this person, I trust this person with my life because we work really well together. And I feel like if you work really well together with another person, it's indicative of, having a great deal of respect for them and being able to just trust them overall as a person. So that's what I'm sensing here. And based on the way the cards have fallen out, I feel for some of you, is an impending separation. There is somebody that's going to be leaving the picture that you care a great, tremendous deal about. Okay, so this is coming up here. I have an air sign, an Aquarius, a Gemini, or a Libra. This is not like the most delicate type of a person, okay? But they're very truthful, very, very honest. And they're somebody who's very brave. They like changes. They like to change their environments every few years, every few months. They're somebody who's very intelligent, very witty, a little bit impulsive, but they always try to do the right thing. And this is somebody that I usually see as, having a little bit of a temper. Not the most, not the most, what's the right word here? They're not the most delicate person with their words. However, this is somebody at the end of the day, you want them by your side, or you want them to fight for you, or you want this person like on your team because they get things done and their morals and their values cannot be compromised, okay? So it's falling underneath here with the Three of Swords. So I feel like, there's going to be a separation between you and this person. For some of you, this can be kind of like a love interest that's no longer going to be in the picture. You might be narrowing down your options. And you might go with one. So for those who are single and dating, you might have two people, two contenders, or two romantic options, and you're narrowing down your options. And you might, choose to go with somebody else and not this air sign. And I feel like they're going to be exiting the picture. I feel like whoever it is, you're going to miss them a great deal. And I also feel like you harbor a mixture of admiration and also a little bit of love. And I feel like you care about this person. You care about this person. You want them to be successful. You want them to be prosperous. You want them to be okay. And so them leaving, it's bittersweet, okay? For some of you, there is also, I'm sensing a very strong soul connection that you have with another person. And I feel like some of you could be already in one relationship, and the relationship is very, very stale and very stagnant. And I feel like you stay in it because you were wanting to do the right thing. Okay, so that could be being in a marriage relationship with somebody, and you're together because of the children. You're trying to, uphold that family unit. You're trying to do the right thing by the kids. You're trying to do the right thing because family is involved. And you honestly might also really believe in the institution of marriage. You might not believe in divorce. You might not believe in separation. And either way, you feel like, oh, it's just a bump in the road. We're going to be able to fix it, and, things will be back to normal. And so you wait it out. But I definitely feel there is also another person that's really piquing your interest. Okay? At this point, I feel like some of you are admiring somebody from afar. You're not really, actively going out and seeking a relationship outside of your marriage or your stable relationship. But I definitely feel here there is a sense of when I'm with this other person, I just feel really calm. I feel like I'm in my element. I feel like we're on the same page. However, when I'm with my partner, I just feel like things are a little bit chaotic. Things are a little bit just, I have to, over-explain myself. They don't immediately get me. So it just seems like one person really has, one person, it seems almost like an emotional affair, like an emotional affair. One person gets you, whereas your current romantic partner doesn't. So I have the image of, this is the emperor, and there's a turtle in front of him. And this is pretty much about you planning, your next move, being very methodical, being very cautious, and taking your time to really assess a situation before you make any type of a move. And I feel for many of you too, it seems as if you might be in a relationship with someone who is quite controlling. It's quite controlling. And I feel like, not that you're staying in the relationship against your will, because I don't see your freedom being restricted. I don't see your movement being restricted. But I feel like you stay in it out of obligation, but you're contemplating, you're like assessing, where's the exit? And you're waiting or biding your time to make that exit. Okay, so I feel some of you are actively thinking about the fact that I'm not happy in this relationship. I'm going to drop it, and I'm waiting for the right time. So if you have recently entered into, like a dating, courtship, relationship with somebody new, you're starting to find out little things about them that I feel doesn't jive well with you. And so you're going to be moving away from that. And I feel like what's around the corner for you is a new relationship. Okay, so I feel like somebody that you might have recently started dating, they seem like they might not want the same things that you want. Your values might not line up perfectly. They might not, for example, want children, and you might want children. They might not be as family oriented as you would hope. They might not even believe in the sanctity of marriage, or they might already be in a relationship that they're not really leaving. So I definitely feel like it seems to me like some of you are either in one relationship that's not doing it for you, and you're looking for a way out, and you're going to be exiting very soon, or you're dealing with somebody who is already in a relationship and they're not leaving. And they might have told you, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave, I'm going to leave in January, I'm going to leave in February. And then they kind of drag their feet, they kind of give you the runaround, or they make promises that they can't keep. And every time they talk about leaving, it seems like some type of catastrophe happens. Oh, the kids are sick. The wife is sick, or the husband is sick, or the in-laws are sick, or it's the holiday season. So it's like excuses after excuses, and they, at the end of the day, they just don't really budge. Okay, so that's what I'm feeling here. What I do sense, aside from the love situation, I feel like there is an authority figure in your life that is an authority figure. Like, it could be, I feel more so in the work environment, okay? There's somebody that is a shadow of his or her old self. Okay, it's somebody who is there, but they're not like emotionally available. Something has befallen them. So their health might be in decline. They might just be like emotionally checked out. They might have, personal issues in their own marriage or in their own personal life that's making them kind of just unavailable. And I feel like you talk to them and you're just like, how do I resolve this issue? How do I resolve that issue? And it seems like in the past, they might have been very, very supportive and just very available and ready to give you answers, ready to give you solutions. But for whatever reason, there's some lack of response from this person, and it has nothing to do with you. So don't fear like, oh, are they mad at me? Did I do anything wrong? Are they pushing me away? Are they jealous or vindictive? No, it has nothing to do with you. It has a lot more to do with their internal turmoil, and I feel like it's heavily either they're worried about their family, or they're worried about like health of parents, health of their family unit, or even like their own marriage, and they're going through difficulties, and they're not really talking about it to anybody because they do put on a very brave and a very stoic and a very independent air, and they don't really want people digging into their problems. But I feel like they're dealing with a lot, and that is why they're not readily available. Okay, so I feel like this situation is going to clear up, and it might take a few months. It might take a few months. So, try to do things kind of like on your own, and just trust that you have the skills necessary. Once again, you're chiseling away at alabaster, so you have a lot of skills. So trust that your skills are sufficient to kind of help you navigate the energies, and you might not need another person's assistance or another person's feedback. You are headed in the right direction. You will be fine. Finances looks really, really good. And I feel like for those of you who are in a relationship, like if you live with a relationship partner, or if you have been together for a really long time, or if you are married, lots of good news coming through from the relationship partner in regards to their financial situation. Okay, so if there has been like, one person making all the money and the other person is like not making as much, I feel like there is an increase in the financial pot, like whatever share resources that you have in between the two of you. There's like, I'm seeing like a bigger piece of the pie, or a bigger pot that's coming into the picture. So there's some good news here regarding finances. Somebody's hard work is definitely being noticed, okay? And like I mentioned before, if somebody is in your work environment and they're leaving the picture, I feel like they might assign, or they might reassign some work to you. So I feel like it's going to be a little bit of a busy week because work is getting shuffled around. Okay, so if there are people leaving the work environment, then you might have to take on some of the work that's left behind. There is a rearranging of the work. There's some work that is being passed around, and things like that. So I do see a shuffling in priorities, a shuffling in people, a shuffling in delegating the work that's going around. It's not anything that you can't handle, but I feel like the process might be a little bit disruptive, okay? When you are left to your own devices, you know what you need to do, and you know like how much time you need to get a specific task done. But when unexpected or unanticipated work comes through, other people are just like, oh no, what's going to happen? And it's just the disruption associated with the reassignments. It's just the disruption that can initially, be a little bit more of an annoyance, but it is not going to really interfere with your workflow. So don't worry about it. Let the higher ups, or let whoever in charge sort it out. And then once it's assigned to you, that's when you just tackle it like you do with everything else in your life. Okay. So I feel like it's not going to be too much of a burden. What I have as well in the picture is kind of like being supportive of somebody in your life that you love. And what I have here is an earth sign, a Taurus, a Virgo, or a Capricorn, as well as an Aries. So I have here the earth sign and the Aries, being supportive of this person. You know how a lot of the times we might not agree with what somebody's doing, but we have to kind of, if we love somebody, we kind of have to support them, okay? So even if they're making the wrong choices, we can't really infringe upon their free will. There might be times when you're just like, what's gotten into you? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing it like this? And why are you still dwelling on this one situation from 3 months ago? Why are you not able to, move on? Like, I feel like there's somebody that is stuck. They're stuck in some type of a predicament. And, you're hearing it, over and over and over and over again. So I definitely feel like you're dealing with somebody who's really, really dragging their feet. They're not their normal self. I feel like they're seeing a situation in a very tunnel vision type of a way for some of them. And then for others, they're making the situation more complicated than it has to be. So it's like they're looking at too many different ways that it could potentially pan out, and they're fearful about making this decision. And so I feel like they're going to come to you about it. And this is somebody that you care about. For some of you, family members. For others, I see like a love relationship. And for others, I feel like somebody at work that is in a position of power, and they're just like, I don't know what to do about the situation. It's not like they're asking you for advice. I feel like they've already decided what they want to do, but they're lacking in the speed at which they need to execute what they've already decided. So they're just like, talking about it over and over and over and over again without really making any type of a concrete move, okay? Because of that, I just feel like, you definitely want to be behind the scenes and support them behind the scenes. I feel like they're still mulling over this decision. So if this reading runs until the 16th, I feel like they're still mulling over the decision. I'm sensing for many of you, there is going to be a straightening out, or at least, a lot of decisions that needs to be made in your love sector. Work is going swimmingly well. I don't see any problems. I see like a lot of smooth sailing. But I just feel like it's more so in the love department where you kind of have to figure out, does loyalty trump the emotional connection? Okay, so you might be loyal to a person because it's expected of you, but are you still in love? And then on the other hand, you might really feel really strongly pulled towards another person, but does that absolve you from looking at your responsibilities and your loyalty? So I definitely feel like being torn between your loyalty and new love. So I feel like the love arena is going to be front and center for this week. And I feel like that's pretty much what's going to be occupying your mind, your thoughts. And I feel as well, there's some type of a separation between you and another person. And it's going to make it's like if they're in your workplace, they might be leaving the picture. And they're doing it in a very, very, very swift manner. Okay, it's like quick exit. Here today, gone tomorrow, like very quick exit. Is very unexpected. And I feel like it's catching everybody off guard. It's really catching everybody off guard. So the message here is, like going back to what I saw earlier about the two people working on the statue. They're working, but they're not saying much to each other. If you really care about somebody, I feel like you have to let them know. You have to tell them, hey, you're doing a really good job. I'm glad that we're working on this together because I really trust you. I'm glad that you're here with me and not somebody else. And I'm glad that we're able to build this together. Okay, so I feel like expressing how you feel is going to be really good for you, because I just see that, somebody is not going to be around for a long time, and you have to just make every moment count, okay? I hope the reading is helpful for you guys, Capricorns. I do wish you all the best, okay? And I'll be back next week. Take care.